And welcome into Getting Help from Uncle Sam. The state of Alabama is blessed with senior citizens. They live a wonderful life in the state of Alabama. One of the main reasons for that is we have a very active State Department of Human Resources. The Commissioner, Nancy Buckner, is with us today. And Commissioner Buckner, I've heard over the years that you people have done a wonderful job taking care of the needs of seniors in our state.
Well, thank you.
And that's one of the things that I think you guys should be proud of. But elder abuse is something that's out there. And let our viewers know basically what constitutes elder abuse.
Well, elder abuse is the intentional harm of harming someone or neglecting taking care of that person. So it's got to be intentional. And unfortunately, in Alabama, we find that almost 60% of the people harming elders are relatives. And these are people that the elderly person knows, loves, and trusts. And so that's why it's easy for them, especially when you get into exploitation or just not taking care of them, providing the care that they need too. But it's the intentional act, not an accidental thing, but intentionally harming the elderly person.
And how is that usually determined? How is that usually found out that someone's being abused in that way?
Well, someone first has to make a report, and they can report to DHR, Department of Human Resources, or they can report to law enforcement. A lot of times we work those cases together and we let each entity know what's going on. But when they call in a report, then we're going to go out, depending on what they call in. Law enforcement goes with us sometimes. And then we just start peeling the layers back, so to speak, to determine whether we can prove that it happened. And just because we can't prove that it happened, Jack, really doesn't mean that it didn't happen.
Right.
So that's why it's so important to report it every time, because that creates
and
a record
that
you've been out there, we've looked at it, and it makes us take a more higher level look sometimes, or law enforcement to think, you know, maybe we got to dig deeper here, you know, just because sometimes somebody reports something and we're not able to prove that it happened. I hope that does not frustrate the viewers into not reporting next time, because it's always important to report. Whether you know for sure it's happening or not, suspicion, please report, because you could save the life of a person if you do.
And you were commissioner during the pandemic.
I was.
And basically, that was a time that we heard, for lack of a better word, a lot of horror stories about a lot of elders that were just kind of, for lack of a word, pushed to the side, which could be neglect.
Right. It was an easy time for them to be taken advantage of, because, you know, we were all so scared. And elderly people tend to be a little more isolated anyway, and then when you're scared of coming into contact with COVID, you're going to be even more isolated. So we had that on one side, and then on the other side, the general public that's out there going in the grocery stores, going to church, you know, delivering meals and that kind of thing. You know, they were a little more scared too.
Sure.
So they were not out and about as much to see what was going on, or just people in the neighborhood stopping by to say hello. You know, that didn't happen either. We were all kind of trying to stay at home so we wouldn't catch COVID. So what that resulted in was fewer reports of elder abuse, neglect, or exploitation too, which was detrimental to many of the elderly around the state. And I understand it. People were scared.
Oh, sure.
But it takes, you know, the elder person getting out sometimes for people to see them, but more importantly, people coming to them and seeing them and talking to them.
And what should a person, if they're becoming an older person, what could they do in their lives to make sure they don't become a victim of either the exploitation or the just neglect?
Well, first and foremost, especially with exploitation, don't talk to strangers. You know, you get all these phone calls and they're scams, and just don't tell them anything. You know, just don't talk to them, because they will figure out, they're very conniving and very smart, and they're going to figure out a way to get some more information about you, because they can figure out your social security number and that sort of thing. And you don't want that to happen. People just coming knocking on your door, I wouldn't go to the door.
Not at all.
You know, they can call you and say, you know, hey, I'm Nancy Buckner and I need to talk to you about so-and-so, and then you can ask questions and that kind of thing. But try not to set yourself up to giving people your information. Sometimes as you get older, you know, your friends start dying. Sometimes
Yes,
I remember
yes.
discussions with my parents, in years past, and you don't have as many people to talk to, so you're happy when somebody calls, or
Right.
you're happy when somebody's knocking on your door. But in this day and age, you just don't need to be out there exposing yourself to strangers that you don't know. If they really intend to see you, there will be other ways that you can get to know them better before you talk to them or open your door to them.
Right. And your department has been very active in legislation that's in this state right now that addresses both neglect and abuse of elders. And for that, thank you.
Well,
You,
thank you very much.
You've been in the leadership role in something like that, and that's very good to see in our state.
Well, we've done a lot of things through the years to open it up and expose the issue of elder abuse because, Jack, I believe that the real judge of any society is how we take care of our very young and how we take
Yeah,
care of our
absolutely.
elderly and disabled. And so, elders may not be as cute as the little tots out there, but they have served. They've
Yes.
served our country. They
Yes.
served our communities. They brought us into the world,
And
so to speak.
they've got a beauty unto themselves.
They certainly
They
do.
have a beauty unto themselves.
And if it weren't for them, we wouldn't be here.
Right. Yep,
So
that's right.
it's our duty to take care of them too.
Okay, so for our viewers to get more information, there's a website, obviously, and we're going to put it up on the screen.
There is.
And any other special numbers or anything they need to call?
They can call their local county Department of Human
Okay,
Resources to
great.
report.
And you've got them across the state. You've got a
every
busy
state.
department, by the way.
Yes, we do. We never have to worry about being bored at DHR. But every county has a local DHR office, and then we always have the state office, and there's an 800 number that I understand you're going to put up
Right,
today.
we are.
That they can call. And also, they need to remember, some people just don't want to get involved, but you can make a report and be anonymous. You don't have to give your name.
That's a great point.
So please just don't be scared to report. When in doubt, report. When
Good.
you're suspicious, report.
Report. Because
you might save the life of a person, or you might prevent them from being involved in a lot of pain.
Well, thank you so much. And just remember, this is one of the great departments in the state of Alabama. It's here to serve you. If you see something, say something, and we'll be right back.